afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast from me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda. We're off here till 1 vs. 1 on Angoville in the north. It is freedom, fighting for America, freedom, democracy, the American dream. Taking on the role here of the 3rd Armored Division with tactical support, mechanized company, and recon support with triple infantry west and south. It is Sakura, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, das Reich. Taking on the role here of the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division, we got defensive doctrine, lightning war, and strategic reserve triple infantry versus, well, yeah, already that mentioned there. Also, big thanks to Gozo Harbour for donating and supporting the Propagandacast with his hard-earned money. So, big thanks to you, Gozo Harbour. Remember, you too can support it by donating on PayPal or pledging on Patreon. Of course, a big thanks to my patrons, who already helped me, of course, make my videos on a daily basis. So, big thanks to you. We got double rough start here for freedom. Pioneers, Gunners moving westwards, then MG42, then Toke, and the focus on the western side of the map here. Rifle and move down the centre, looking to use the building here to outmaneuver Sakura's right flank, taking advantage of the fact way the map sort of has some geographical leanings, and catching the MG42 was ready, but even then MG42 in the open versus Ralph scored here. Tell the way this building is set up, like, it's very potent for infantry. There's 5 windows here, which is a pretty big deal, making this incredibly efficient for infantry, in particular American infantry, any sort of larger squads than force. And again, they can take full advantage of, let's say, Grenadier squads here. Like, they don't be able to make use 4 out of 5 windows. 3rd Ralph squad on the way there. Nope. Oh, he's flying down part Y here to try and hinder movement there from his opponent's infantry. Or they've got some planning ahead here from freedom. Sakura slightly falling back from here. We'll probably try and hope they can be baited out and deal with them, meanwhile dealing with other forces in the west here. Pioneers closing in. Nice work. There we go. Wrapping in there. Occupying the point here. Second squad almost done there for Sakura and the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division. Machine gun moving ahead here. Rather just looking to harass and disrupt Sakura's resource flow there. Thumbs up to freedom for that one. Still looking towards the eastern fuel point. Overall disruptive start here for freedom. Looking just to disrupt the opponent's resource flow before securing their own. Can be efficient if done correctly. And of course quite potent. MG42 setting up. There is some spacer than these by the fuel point. Now go rapidly express to the MG42 and route it. Taking some minor casualties there. North Pioneers versus the Rifle squad there. 33 squads total here for freedom at the moment. There we go. Platoon command post being upgraded as well there for freedom. Right from there, being continued ahead by the Pioneers as they defend the fuel point. MG42 being go back to the front line. As the Wehrmacht active MG42, use each one of your best tools against the Americans. Since your Grenadiers one-on-one are usually only great at like max range. And the problem is with that one is that it requires the Americans to stay there. And typically, they're not particularly keen on that. So the machine gun is quite handy there. Allows you to fight the engagements much more in your favour and actually bleed them out without necessarily getting bled out yourself. And it's usually by bleeding them out steadily, you can sort of slow the advantage and actually pull ahead yourself. Check there for Sakura there. We got the Pioneers there for around the copper. Machine gun being hauled eastwards. We're going to need some support there. Going to need some Rifle squad on the west. Other gunners want to get moved up there. A lot of action. They've also got one Grenadier squad, a fresh one moving eastwards to grab territory there. Pioneers being slowly bled out. There we go. Lieutenant out here for freedom. His Rifle squad there down to 2 men. Got these to fuel the eastern munitions. Big 2 points wise. We've got a time lead here for the German army over the Americans. Rifle retreating. Could go for a fast 50 cal, but likely we're going to see a rash steward out here since those are quite potent as the Germans, particularly they pull for 2-2s. So unless of course they go for a sufficient number of them, in which case there's still a light tank. Could hit a few obstacles. West side here, Grenadiers was Rifle squad ambulance away there for freedom, focusing on providing first aid for the troops. Not a bad idea, not a bad idea. Down south here, machine gun moving westwards to deal with that. Further up here, ground the car point, and further east, we got the Grenadiers with 3 essence using volley fire. Interesting move there. Like to make a nice company up there for Sakura back at the base. Could be a 2-2 here, though Panther is right now. I think would be a pretty good pick here versus freedom and all of his infantry. There's of course strategic reserves and assault Grenadiers' plan. They usually go for that sooner then. Lieutenant going in, looking to once more disrupt Sakura's resource flow. They also maybe catch some units off guard. Thumbs up there. Also threatens to retreat path of the units already here in the west. If they stick around for too long, that gives the lieutenant an increased chance of wipe. And also in this case, create something to focus on and then sort of strike from another angle. So there's a lot of just strength to just doing this move there, particularly by Freedom. So thumbs up to that one. Alright, like to make a nice company up, though I believe we also seeing a bunker going up there in the base. Yup, bunkers, that'll be medics. Might want to upgrade this gun these soon, or at least choose a doctor upgrade with. Gonna need something eastwards there. Between the hosting way, grabbing the western fuel point there for America. Gonna need to bring up against the lieutenant. No upgrades yet. Machine has retreated back to base there for safety, not a bad idea. Lieutenant there. Continue class, now go to the top on the way for Sakura and the German army. 50 cal on the way there for Freedom. The Mardus. Grab the point here. Grab the eastern point here. For those wondering what was the difference between a Panzer Grenadier Division and a Panzer Division, a Panzer Grenadier Division was effectively a motorized infantry division in that they were pretty much all in trucks, despite having the sound of Panzer Grenadier. There was very few armored elements, and by 1943-44, it was around 45. It was basically just a battalion of Stooks that had attached them, sort of form up the armored component. So, little fun fact. I mean, there were exceptions. For example, there's the 11th SS Panzergrenadier Division Nordland, which, for example, fought in the Baltics, which actually had armored complements and actually half tracks for several of its Panzergrenadier battalions. But those was, I would say, the exceptions rather than the rule. Most divisions were mounted in trucks, and as the war went on, would actually also be mounted on bicycles. For example, the 17th SS in Normandy had several battalions mounted on bicycles since they couldn't even get trucks. So a little fun fact there. A little fun fact. Good going points here. Good who was the rifleman. Squad catching there with the autocannon. Still, the infantry in a Panzer division was still usually a cut above the ones you'd find in an infantry division. But, you know, beyond that in terms of equipment, they were still, you know, lower on the rung than a full-on Panzer division. So some fun notes there. Pioneers is the 5th Cavalry, gets to launching here for Freedom. Very much expected. Another MG42 there for Sakura. Not a bad pick at all, though they probably want a Pack 40 or another 2-2 soon. And I feel like Panzer Grenadiers will still be a great investment here for Sakura. As for Freedom, weapon racks or grenades could be a really good pick here soon. Increasing firepower versus the Krauts. Got a Pack 40 as well there for Sakura and the German army. To move out of the rifle squad. On the Western Front, there were actually very, very few Panzer Grenadier divisions. There was the 17th SS in Normandy, and later on you had the 15th, which was transferred from, well, Italy to the Western Front. Beyond that, I think it was like they were largely in terms of Panzer Grenadier division on the Western Front. So, little fun fact there. Well, I believe those. Well, I can't quite remember at the moment. But anyways. Rifleman coming up the western flank here. Machine's about to get hit here on the side by Freedom. His rifle squad moving in there aggressively. Also worth noting, no sign of doctrine here from either side. No choice of a larger game plan here. Which means either tactical support here, Recon support for Freedom. Since normally they have picked mechanized company man, there's nothing preventing you from going for it later on. Since, you know, reserve armor is still pretty good. Cavalry rifle and combined arms are also pretty good. But it's just typically you see it chosen very early for the dirty dart track and such. But, you know, nothing preventing from making like a decision for it later in the game. Because again, even then, like a lot of this, you know, late game stuff is still pretty good, to be honest. Gun lives on the fires to a light tank damage from the Pack 40, several shots piercing its light frontal armor. Gun lives by the Western Victory Point. We got 587 so far. Sakura's holding up decent here versus Freedom, though at the same time is a bit of a challenge in terms of engagement. We got some Grenadiers being upgraded, but even then, still a lot more upgrades that could be happening here for Sakura versus Freedom, who is also not upgrading their troops and also could benefit from upgrading their troops. 50 couple there being hold forwards. Sakura, they're losing ground rapidly to the Americans. At this point, might have been off pushing into the east side of the map rather than fighting for the west side here, since this is where most of the firepower, more importantly the machine guns, are focused for Freedom. So basically not charging in, that would be the best pick here for Sakura. It's going to be along the lines of German doctrine. Guns reinforcing. We got Recon support here for Freedom, with the raid tactics ability on our Pathfinders, the airdrop command group, ever popular, Greyhounds, and the M83 cluster bombs. The airdrop command group giving a support paratrooper squad and the pack howitzer. And the pack howitzer is quite good, and obviously the paratroopers are also quite good, either like machine guns or the bazookas. So a strong choice there by Freedom here against Sakura. Do get panzers on the way there. Thumbs up to Sakura. Also a very good choice there for the German army, which if you know how to use them. In that sense, they are a bit trickier to use, since again they're 4-man squads, meaning one mistake you can see a significant drop in their firepower very rapidly. Two moving about here, moving here for the western fuel point, grenades advancing like machine guns in hand, tightly clenched. Stood moving up here, Pack 40 is close, and there go guns up. Two also getting a few shots in the Stuart light tank, damaging the Stuart light tank. Pack 40 moving up, then the Panzer Abwehr Kanone 40 shoots and misses. Bad luck there for Sakura. Second shot misses as well. Pretty lucky there for Freedom. Pretty lucky that Stuart survived quite the complicated situation there through sheer luck. Panzer sneak about on the eastern side here for Sakura and the German army. Mines here planned but not finished. Two moving about here, engaging the riflemen. Paratroopers moving up, probably the ones who were laying down the mines and finished. Didn't finish it. Since the thing about the paratrooper support squad is they can actually lay down mines, unlike regular paratroopers. It's just most people tend not to be aware of this, so they don't care, but you can actually use them to lay down mines, which is actually a nice advantage, and again something you actually probably catch most of your opponents off guard with, since again the average USF player doesn't use the mine ability on the paratrooper support squad. Note, regular paratroopers from Airborne Company doesn't have access to it. Piloting towards the rifle lieutenant in the west. We got the 5th Cold Sword sitting up there. Pretty risky stand here by Sakura. Probably need to retreat there. We got the lieutenant on the flank. Still no grenades, which I suppose is a good bit of luck there. Fortune for Sakura. We got Bastard out there, the Browning automatic rifle. We are still seeing more of a tempo push into the east, I think, here from Sakura. They're still trying to fight for west fuel point here, but there is, I think, also a realization that they might have a bit better luck if they pushed eastwards. We can see the Pack 40 here is being shifted eastwards to deal with the Stuart light chain there. And only a student, a bit of infantry. Push there could be great. Bun grenade tossed here. Easily dodged as the units were retreating. So, bit of waste of munitions. Bit of waste. Then there was a rifleman. Rifleman are quick retreat. They go moving in big time. Then we got the pack has been hold up. Paratrooper sending out. No certain upgrades yet. Might be he's planning the double Browning light machine guns there. Their kit troops reinforcing. If you're wondering if there's anything sort of like making a jumping sound in the background, that would be my cat Basil playing around with a toy mouse, which he occasionally likes to do. Grand Eastern victory point fuel point. There's a Grenadier as the pack and other Grenadiers holding the Stuart occupied here. Panzer there routed, machine also right here. Lieutenant being suppressed by another MD-42. Pinned down to the ground. The lieutenant has to get out of there very fast. In the far east here, we are seeing resistance encountered here by the eastern fuel point. Could try with the rifle grenade here. May have a chance to get the rifle squad there if Freedom is too slow to react. We got artillery firing down. Direct hit from the pack out of the machine gun crew doesn't get a wipe there. Lucky for Sakura, since the pack out is actually quite lucky, good at getting incidental wipes. In the east there, Stuart striking now. Again, pack 40 being eastwards there. Means, or westwards, mean of course this east is now open there. But with the troops here, managed to successfully make a breakthrough in Freedom's left flank as he possibly took what was perhaps bait in the east side there. Also a lot of manpower being floated there, but Sakura definitely wants to like spend some of that. Fuel caches could be an idea. Bunkers could be an idea. Well, Panzer Grenadiers, mortars, lots of considerations here for Sakura. Definitely should be flying that much manpower to there. Almost getting the pack crew there down to just, or pack howitzer crew down to just one man there, or 3 men. Which means just one more casualty, and then they'll have to retreat. Still line tank move about here. 2 kills, veteran 2-1. Troops really reinforcing there for Freedom. Sakura there certainly in a bit of a tight position. Got 395 versus 387. Push into these again here with Panzer on his back up and in before 2, but already taking heavy damage from the BAR wielding rifleman. Much harder to close in, plus they weren't fully reinforced, which certainly does not help the chances of launching a successful assault here. Players pulling ahead here. Still a sort of upgrade, and we get a second airdrop combat group. More paratroopers, but also more pack howitzers. This is going to make things really dangerous for Sakura, since they're going to need machine guns and infantry. Packs are going to be quite vulnerable, since, one wrong step with just a bit of luck there for Freedom, and that could be, an infantry escort gone, pack gone, machine gun gone. Like, double pack howitzers is really nasty, and while it's not quite as prevalent in 1 vs 1 matches, in 2 vs 2 it is very popular at the moment, because it's quite effective. Since while Relic some time ago did on paper nerf them, in reality the nerf didn't amount to much, to put it very diplomatically. And there you go, machine gun there, wiped by the pack howitzer. Obviously in this case, caught right to the building, the machine crew will be quite bashed up, so that makes it even easier, but still pretty bad here for Sakura. There goes Stuart charging right ahead here, bit of a mistake there right into the midst of the Grenadiers with Panzerfaust. Not entirely what's going on there, but the Stuart is down, perhaps a misclick. Pathing error, who knows, but the Stuart is toast, and that's a big help there for Sakura, though they're definitely floating too much manpower at the moment, and definitely need to spend it on something. Definitely don't think floating almost 1,000 manpower between current circumstances is a great idea here for Sakura, and definitely represents a bit of a flaw in their current play. Bit of a flaw. Parrots there being shredded. 50 over there being hosed down. Pioneers being westward for the western point. 2-2 rolling back towards the base. Half 8 to 53. More Pioneers there for Sakura. Not a bad idea. Also to get that's a Palmer Cop, maybe rush out Osmond here. We got Freedom with fast-ish tech. And a Scott there. Interesting pick with a figure to Sherman. Hypes those rounds, all that. Single pack 40 could just bulldoze its way through, I think, Freedom's lines, or Sakura's lines. But, Scott is also quite effective, though feels like here that Freedom might be committing a bit much to artillery. I mean, that's going to be 2 pack cards in the Scott. Obviously, great representative support weapons, but then if Sakura activates pushing out armor here versus Freedom, it's obviously going to hit a few complications. Grabbing the eastern point here, seizing the western field point there with the rifleman. So it looks like Freedom is opting for an infantry attritional playstyle, and certainly with the lead Freedom has, it's understandable. I mean, they're going to chew through anti-tank guns and infantry, though, of course, there's going to be that significant gap in dealing with the ability to deal with tanks. So if Sakura can, begin spending resources a bit more efficiently and begin pushing out for tanks, there is a chance to maybe turn this around against Freedom. If Freedom cannot then finish this efficient enough, because again, they have committed a lot of resources to artillery. Though again, a paratroop bazooka squad is still pretty good versus a single medium tank. Of course, if more than one medium tank arrives, that bazooka team's gonna have a bit of a harder time. So there's a lot of potential things going to happen here, a lot of potential developments and complications. But at the same time, it's also quite clear that Freedom here is just aiming for just sort of, as safely in a way possible, deal with Sakura, but just providing it some bits from range. Which I suppose is quite accurate, since the Americans were quite fond of just hosing the Germans with lots of artillery. And so Sakura will of course have to try and, learn from the Germans of the old, which of course was how to, draw out all the artillery without getting hit by it, and then, exploit that. But there you go, Panzer IV on the way for Sakura. That's going to be quite helpful though, versus all of the infantry. And again, with only one bazooka team, that's going to be somewhat too... Oh, Bun Grenadier in the midst of the infantry, wasn't paying attention. There you go, paratrooper squad wiped out. Lieutenant also about to get wiped out. A huge blow here to Freedom. A moment of laxity certainly spawns a lifetime of dead infantry. Good lord. That was a hell of an explosive moment there for Sakura. That's got to have felt good there, though. I mean, a paratrooper squad and a lieutenant is down is chef's kiss beautiful. Mine's down there, thumbs up to Freedom. Again, making use of abilities that most players never consider. Packouts, of course, also close to the base. Then again, form up a formidable artillery battery, which at any moment could certainly cause things to quickly collapse backwards for Sakura. So it's certainly a challenge here in the Far East. Panzer's levels to do it, need to retreat. Panther 4, though, is ready here for Sakura. And the 15th Panzer Grenadiers sent in from nearby Panzer Division. Provide support. Was not uncommon that Panzer divisions would be parceling out their tanks to support other elements, Panzer Gun divisions or infantry divisions for that matter. In many cases, by 1944-45, Panzer divisions usually would find themselves drawing out quite a bit of frontage, with a lot of different elements being attached here and there. Jackson tank assault on the way for freedom to help deal with the Panzer. Of course, losing 2 infantry squads did free up a lot of populations and open up for the Jackson tank destroyer. Still a manpower there being floated by Sakura and the German army to fix up the Panther 4. Of course, grab some territory. We've got 252 versus 374. Packers are hammering away. Mine went off, only killing one going to do. That's pretty lucky there for Sakura. Machine gun trying to dodge all the pack houses, which are definitely looking to make things as miserable as possible for the Germans. Scott, then, of course, also joining in. That's a total of 3 quite effective artillery pieces on it. It's definitely a challenge here for Sakura to somehow dodge it all. And now we got fuel caches going up here, setting up for some long haul play. Let me bring up more tanks now. Could be a pretty great idea there. Plus, with more fuel caches, I mean, they might actually also make down the road once a steady fuel supply has been secured, but more than that, you know, make a Tiger tank somewhat of a safe choice as well. But there you go, M36 Jackson tank shot, machine gun almost wobbling up. We also got the Paratroopers there hiding out with bazookas, ready to ambush any crowds. Ooh, close one there. Major with bazookas as well. And there you go, machine gun immediately loses half the crew there. So single shell, needs to retreat before the pack out to finish it off. Ooh, that was really close. They almost took out the machine gun. Panther being fixed up. Big push from infantry. Far east. We got the Grenadiers versus Rav squad. Low health though. Lots of bars there. Grenadiers are likely going to lose that one. They could win through possibly. Panther being further pushed back here. As Freedom continues the push, we got the paratroopers there with bazookas ready to hunt down some Kraut Panzers. Rav being hold down here with the MD-42. Scots opening up here on the MD-42. Need some armor support there. No, none to be seen. Second fuel cache up. That's 2 fuel caches here, by the way. Actually up from Sakura. Which means, of course, A, they're not going to be quite as hit hard by, you know, losing fuel points and whatnot. But also when they do have fuel points, they can actually get ahead there in terms of, like, fuel per minute against the Freedom. Of course, the way the precision runner is, they're actually kind of exposed to some degree. But if Freedom for some reason doesn't push for them and can't get to them, this is something that could certainly turn to advantage down the road for Sakura. Though arguably could have used some of that manpower that's been floated earlier to like get these fuel caches down sooner, which probably helped out for say faster Panther 4s. But anyways, enough about that. White Phosphorus down as well there for Freedom. His own men being caught in it. Not great. Scott there wiping half the Grenadiers. Scott with a single shot. Great shot there. And Grenadiers quickly retreat since they don't want, you know, to join the otherwise already dying gentlemen. Pioneers basically elsewhere, so they can't fix the Panther 4. Guns affecting the Scott. Great hit from the Pack 40 there. We also got the Jackson hanging back here with its 90mm gun. Could do with some repairs. We got 7 kills on the M1 75mm Pack howitzers, usually part of the Airborne Infantry Division or for a Mountain Infantry Division, since they both needed some more light and portable artillery, whereas a regular Infantry Division didn't really need it. But some would still have it. So a little fun fact there. Little fun fact. And a bit amusing that it sort of became, you know, standard American weaponry, which was much more of a specialised weapon, really. There you go, Panzer Guns 2 has the vehicle crew, who certainly found themselves outmatched by far. I also find it amusing that the American vehicle crew found themselves much more fighting on foot, though technically they were less likely to do it. I mean, they had plenty of vehicles. Meanwhile, German tank crews, in many cases, one particular by 1944-45, actually found themselves fighting as infantry because they just didn't have spare tanks to pop into. So, little fun note there. A little fun fact there. and which tends not to get talked about a lot, but it was actually a common occurrence. The German tank crews would just have to fight as infantry. Which obviously they weren't keen on, but you know. That's another story. Paratroopers are getting ready to ambush the Panther 4 here by the looks of it, though. Fix it off a bit too fast. They can't threaten the Panther 4 with the bazookas. More fire there. Whoa, that was lucky there for Sakura. Both rockets missed. Jackson, though, did not. Close shave on the east side there. Panzergrenadiere are being supported by grenadiers, but they're none of this being bogged down by lots of BAR fire. They need more heavy firepower there to break through. We got lightning war here for Sakura with the Jaeger Light Infantry upgrade, tactical movement, relief infantry, like they're going to use. The Tiger tank and the stupid close air support. Probably again going to go for the Tiger tank here. And certainly, I suppose in the current circumstances, there's a lot of infantry, a lot of support weapons, not a lot of armor and anti-tank guns. So a Tiger tank, plus with the 2 fuel caches, is actually not a half bad idea. I mean, Freedom would struggle somewhat as a Tiger tank if Sakura handles it quite well. So in this situation, it's not just, you know, the typical Tiger stall. I would argue it's actually a half decent read of the opponent just going, hang on. They probably have a really bad time with a Tiger, and usually in those situations where a opponent will have a really bad time with a Tiger is when you actually go for it. That's the thing about Tigers. If your opponent's going to have a really bad time with them, that's when you get them. 2-2 that went down there to the Jackson. Pentacle gets a good hit. And of course the 2 fuel caches do assist for this nicely. You know, thumbs up there to Sakura. They're still floating a lot of manpower, more than I'm comfortable with. Even though they're stalling for the Tiger tank, I feel like 800 manpower might be a bit excessive. Just a bit. At that point, they might as well just gone for the Strategic Reserves. Like, if they want to hold that much manpower up and just go for the Tiger Ace instead. You know, call in some better Panther 4s instead of the regular one. Call in the Panther 4 Model J, which is definitely better. But there you go. Panther is backed up here by the Panther 4. Launched for the victory point. The major suffers a crashing blows a high explosive shell. Crumps an entire unit. Leaving none alive. The Suit team negating the Panther 4. Looks like both rockets hit, but only one penetrated. Panzer wing to deal with the paratroops. Got the Jackson nearby, but that's not going to help us. The mighty Panzergrenadiere. Scott on the way there, number 2. So he's committing to more artillery, meaning either Freedom is thinking he can close his ass fast by just bleeding out all of Sakura's infantry support and just murdering with artillery, or they're not considering the possibility of a Tiger tank, which is definitely starting to look very possible here. Grab these some fuel points as well. Thumbs up there, though again, floating too much manpower for my comfort. Jackson tanks are hanging back there. 1 kill, close to veterans 1. Both Scots unleashing a barrage of death. Though mostly on the ground it seems. Possibly a few squirrels. Grenadiers are about to go annihilated. Oh, down to 1 man. That's a wipe there on Sakura. Surprised they only took that long to get this Grenadiers squad wiped, actually. Yes, that's slightly impressive, though. Definitely should replace it. More Panzer would be great. There we go. Thumbs up to Sakura. Tiger tank is very close now. We're roughly a minute away. We got smoke screens off here from the Scots. Ooh la la. Nice use that ability there by Freedom. Other Scot there fixed up back in the base. Note that the Scot smoke ability is actually free. And they can also shoot it while moving. Which is really handy, to be honest. Second Panzer Squad ready there for Sakura and the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division. Next, we got Grenadiers was the Rifle Squad. Freedom Cookins and moving up for the Eastern Victory Punch Squad. Then we got 100 points and 1 left. There's, I mean, focusing on that side and just holding it might be a better idea. But there you go. At the 29-minute mark, Sakura can finally call in the mighty Tiger tank. And again, Freedom's current force composition, while great for bullying Sakura's infantry and support weapons, is notably more exposed to Tiger tanks. So a bit of a gambit here, which possibly with a bit more aggression, I think active reconnaissance looking out where Sakura's weak spot was, like then exploit that, probably could have worked out, but with a slightly more lackadaisical temperament, has given an opportunity for Sakura to just exploit this force composition by just ramming a Tiger straight down its throat. And again, had there been, say, one tank with no more armor here from Freedom, Tiger tank would have been more risky, at least in the current sort of incarnation of force composition that Sakura has. But again, with the way Freedom currently set things up, the Tiger tank is going to be amazing. That's going to be like lighting a match in a sewer, you know. Don't stand in the sewer, but it's going to blow up. The Tiger tank is basically the match being tossed down into Freedom sewer, you know, filled with methane and other delightful things which are going to easily combust when encountering the Tiger. So, I mean, right now, of course, the question is, can Sakura, of course, throw the match fast enough and get things to combust fast enough? We got Panzers here with the G43, the Gewehr 43. We got a geballte Ladung there. Bit of a blow up there, but nothing big on the Panzergrenadier. Far east here, we got the Scott opening up and the Panzergrenadiers moving up as well there. Tiger tank mobilized. Pinlight machine being added as well there. Thumbs up. Always add the machine guns to the armor when you can. They do actually add some significant anti-infantry damage, which will be useful both versus infantry, but also support weapons. Bravo squad there suffering the wrath of the Tiger tank. The 88mm high explosive shell there. Having quite an impact. Paratroopers hiding about there. Could go for the Scots. Gunners are close being wiped up by the double Scots. Packouts still hanging about there. Tiger tank going for it, and there you go. Scott inside. Direct hit there as the 88mm armor piercing shell punches through the armor. Like a fist through a piece of cardboard. Perhaps they're falling back. Tiger tank continues to pursue. Smoke screen popped up at the Scotch. Jackson there. Not reacting to this. Perhaps too much going on there. For Freedom's reacted to the mighty advance of the Tiger tank. Freedom is bringing up another M36 second tank destroyer to help deal with this arrival of crap heavy armor. Map control is now swinging more in favor of Sakura with 71 versus 336, but they hand most of the map, you know, uncontrolled the German army now. Tiger tank need repairs. Panzer 4 there, good to go. Close to Veteran 2. Jackson hanging back here for Freedom. One option you could consider to try and set up a force-hitter flank up behind Sakura's main line. Clear up the support and get up behind the tanks and catch them off guard. I think that'd be the best choice. Plus, it also forces Freedom to suddenly shift attention from probably around here with expecting it to suddenly down here, and that could also create errors and mistakes which then could be further exploited by Freedom doing such an attack. We'll have to see if they actually do it though. One thing is having the opportunity, of course, and others actually realizing and then seizing upon the opportunity. Telemines up there, thumbs up to Sakura. Bazooka shot firing at the Panther. Tiger tank shoots, nice hit there, not quite landing enough. Tiger tank half hit, Veteran 2-1. Back here, MG42 near reinforced on the west side. Here we got Grenadiers for the Panzer Grenadiers as well, attacking the rifleman position. We got grenades up. Thumbs up to Freedom. So, of course, he gets a taste of the German one. There you go, grenade over the Panzer Grenadiers. Down just 2 men, they need to retreat. Whereas east side, fighting continues here as Freedom is ready for him to break through head on. Bazooka drop, paratroopers dead, and we got the Pioneers wiped out. Quite a few losses there on both sides. Freedom, or Sakura, I mean, could go for a Panther 4 to back up the armor. That'd be a pretty good idea. CoH2, I think, in particular, would be great versus all these Jackson tank destroyers due to its good rate of fire, speed, and of course, sexy, sleek profile. Jackson moving westwards. Panzer 4 rushing westwards as well. With limited anti-tank support, limited screen here, no reconnaissance, hits into mine. Definitely, I think, a bit of a bad call there by Sakura. I get the idea. I want to clear up the machine gun surprise maneuver, but didn't account for mines, didn't account for the Jacksons or anything else. That was just not a very efficient way of going about it there by Sakura. You know, thumbs down. But there you go, direct hit from the Jackson, Tiger tank on the Jackson gun. It's been crushed with the Jackson tank destroyer still. They're going to get a Panther off. They could take out Jackson tank destroyer here if he's willing to risk it a bit more, but oh, he's going for it. He's going for it. The Tiger tank advances, make use of the hedges there to perhaps dodge a few shots. Oh, no, backs off. Was close there, I suppose, but better safe than sorry. 50 cover the grab with the Grenadiers. Ludwig forced to hold the light machine all the way back, but that's probably still lighter than a 50 cover machine gun, which weighed roughly around 50 kilos. If I remember correctly. Got a Pathfinder out there. Scouting eastwards. Smoking down from the Scots to cover an advance. Not bad though. Unless it hits the Tiger tank, it's not going to stop the Tiger tank. As that can move. Jackson hanging back here and get repaired. Pack out there with 11 kills close to 22. No additional son of armor there. Probably do a bit to pop cap. Could still, I think, go for a Panzerforce Stug here. And again, versus double Jacksons. You probably just want the Sturmgeschütz. Bunker being set to defend the carve point there. A machine to give our bunker. Most bunkers would have been the, shall we say, improvised dug-in type to the terrain. Little fun fact there. Of course, there were pre-prepared ones for concrete and all that. Oh, Panzer Water about to get wiped out. Possibly mine went off there, and I think that might have been one of his own mines, if anything. That could be a telemine. Still a son of armor here from Sakura. Definitely should bring up more armor to support the Tiger tank. We got 60 versus 295. Double Jackson, double Scott. It's actually a significant force in terms of like firepower. In particular, if wielded correctly here, could I think devastate Sakura here. Jackson engaging the fuel caches. At this point, it's not going to matter too much. I mean, already got the fuel more or less for a second Tiger tank. They obviously shouldn't be waiting for to lose the first one to replace it. They should just be bringing up more armor. Then it seems like Sakura might be having some issues with hesitancy and indecision. Can't quite make up the mind fast enough what armor they want, which again does give Freedom more opportunity to like punish Sakura for such mistakes and indecision. Great hit from the Pack 40 though there. We got cluster bombs in on the Pack 40. Tiger tank half health. Going from there, go target weak point. Nice work. 2 thumbs up there. Very overlooked ability in Wehrmacht Pack 40s, but holy smokes. Got the Jackson there. Tiger tank's almost going down. We got Panther Force produced here. Finally realizes, hang on, we need Panzers. Lots of them. Jackson going for it. Oh dear. Oh no. No. They accidentally misclicked in the haste to press a lot of other stuff. They accidentally. Oh no. Realised the mistake now, but it's too late. The Tiger tank got a lot of free hits and the Jackson is down. Oh, that's going to feel so bad there for Freedom. Oh no, they accidentally locked the weapons down. I'm sure the crew's like, God damn it, what are you doing, sir? Why can't we fire? Why can't we fire? No, God, no. I don't want to die like this. I want to die due to crippling alcoholism after being abandoned as a veteran after the war by the United States healthcare system. Not in a tank burning. Technically, sorry, it's a tank destroyer. Shut up, Carl. Shut up. Anyways, perhaps that Pathfinder being pushed back here. Panther on the way. Tiger tanking done. Your repairs to get every pioneer he can muster to work on it. Support which will also stand to be crew there. At least they're finally spending that manpower, I guess. Rifling up the eastern side. Scott's with the gun, machine gun there. Quickly clearing out most of it. Down just one poor bastard. There may soon be one dead bastard. Wow, 3 shots. And they somehow managed not to kill the last man standing. That is some luck there for Sakura. Punching ahead here. Ace over there, 15 kills. Vehicle crew easily rounded. We got 60 versus 201. But yeah, that accidental hold fire there. Whew, that was costly there for Freedom. I mean, still has plenty of victory points, so there's plenty of resources, so they can probably still bounce back from it. Though they need plenty of tanks, so the tanks to sort of turn this around. And now we got the Panther Force striking in here at Freedom, who is yet to bring up any additional armor. In fact, currently doesn't have bazooka to stop the Panther Force, so there's a particular, again, like force issue here, compensation issue for Freedom. And this is right now, again, what the Panther 4 can just exploit. And with the Tiger tank was a match into the sewer, this is just straight up chucking a load of fireworks into them. Jackson tanks on the way there for Freedom. Tiger tank also good to go there for Sakura and the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division. Need to get that one moving fast. We get the eastern point there. Scott's firing. Machine gun still not recruit there by Sakura and the 15th Panzer Grenadier Division. 8 Panzer ground the western field point. We got 60% on 6. Jackson almost done. And then go another tank store ready here for Freedom. Pack cards are cleared out and recruited. Panzers are routed from the northeastern victory point. At this point, we can see Freedom's strategy is slightly hit some snags there in part. Sakura's a bit too mobile here for it to work out. I mean, double Scots and double packs aren't bad, but I think when you go for both of them at the same time, you do risk some issues. I mean, sure, if your opponent's playing sufficiently passive, it's just going to devastate them, but if your opponent plays sufficiently, like, as aggressive and mobile enough, yeah, no, it's going to lose some of its ability to actually be useful. And it's more typical in 2 versus 2 games because the maps are typically much more narrow and smaller where the pack cards can sort of be more effective because there's less room for the opponent to move about on in the first place. But in a 1 versus 1 particular map like Angoville, which is, as you might notice, very open, the pack cards is further run into some issues there in terms of like just sheer efficiency on top of the double Scots. So I feel like Freedom here overcommitted to strategy. I mean, opponent down is to 59, so I mean there's still a chance here that Freedom can win this, but if they lose, I mean, it's probably going to be to, like, I think, a bit too heavy emphasis on artillery. But they've probably just been bringing up tanks to backed up by Jacksons instead. Like, I feel a pair of Shermans work up by some double Jacks probably could have been much more effective here versus Freedom. Or Sakura, I mean, in the 74 with the rifle squad, quick to arrive them. But again, 52, 51 versus... On the 39, we got the Pathfinders hiding here. Can't pop the artillery barrage. They're just trying to figure out if they're actually on the point. Hey Jürgens, this thing isn't working. Shake it and try it again. How? And walk up. Oh shit, says Americans. That explains it. How is it supposed to pick up the entire point and shake it? Well, you know, we're German. We're superhuman. Not such superhuman, you asshole. Jackson gets a good hit. Pathfinder down. Another blow there to Freedom. 50 cover dug in. We got 43 versus 139. Got the machine moving up there again. Just beyond the edge there. Panther moving up. Nice hit there. 12 kills. Tiger Tank with 13 kills. Halfway to the ace level. That's pretty good there for Sakura. And bad news for Freedom when it gets there. Then admittedly, the bad news are certainly of a more numerous disposition at the moment here for Freedom and the 3rd Armored Division. Panzer pushing ahead here. We got 7 kills. We got 17 kills. Scots them around in the Panzer Grenadiers threatening to snuff out their lives at any moment. Plus there's still at least 1 pack carter. Firing some white phosphorus, I believe, here on the machine gun in the east. Yes, sir. Is it actually firing? Okay, it just seemed like it bugged out. Can occasionally happen with some artillery if it gets recruited. I've got around the Panther 4, 14 kills. Target down routing the vehicle crew, 15 kills. Freedom really struggling. It also doesn't help, like he's now charging his forces into where Sakura's forces are permanently concentrating, in particular with the Pack 40 when the probably should be heading eastwards, where 2 of the victory points are. Like, again, the Freedom were, I think, to make, like, you know, a swift push on the eastern victory points, dig in with mines and other stuff there, they might have a chance of beating out the Sakura and the victory point from, particularly when they then push for the eastern victory points, try and race in. That might leave the western one open, which one they could grab that as well and quickly bleed out Sakura. But they are, for now, I think, a bit too focused on the western point, a case of tunnel vision, which can unfortunately happen here. It's a common occurrence in a lot of mid to high level games even. And you just get so obsessed with a certain small part of the map there, they just refuse to give up on it. Slightly, I would say it's a slight variation on the sunk cost fallacy. But there you go, rushing for the eastern victory points, time to move forces eastwards, a bit late there. Another Jackson away, but need to get more forces in there. Sakura, of course, needs to respond to this quickly, but at the same time not recklessly, since again one mistake and it could cost them the game as well. Which again is for them what Freedom would be looking for. That one mistake to then quickly just pounce on the other victory point as well. 43 versus 58 is going to be a close one. Panther target tank setting up their panzer main support, making use of the combined arms to support the tanks better. Shots fired, round scored, almost annihilated. Down to one man. Air support called as well to deny usage of the area here to the tank destroyers. Panther taken up, target tank ahead here. Panther blitzing out of there. Air support raining down there on the Jackson tank destroyers. Shots flying and not quite hitting, but there you go. A few shots do go through the Jackson tank destroyer. Tiger tank close to the 8th level. Ground squad almost wiped out, pushing on the western victory point, but there is a 50 caliber in the way. And with several bullets with the names of average Americans. Jürgen, I don't think hot dog is an American name. What is it? Bubblegum. Oh, yeah. Good thing you're there, Helmut. Grenadiers, Panzers moving about. Target tank also moving about. They're close to veteran 3. More pioneers there for Sakura, who's actually managed to gain control of the situation entirely. Freedom's artillery bonanza rather hit a brick wall, as it turns out. As again, while it's great as infantry support weapons, it does need an attacking force to back up, and in this regard there was, I think, too much long-range indirect fire and not enough, actually punch-through firepower here for Freedom to take advantage of all the artillery. Like, I think for this strategy work, they should have gone for double Shermans, and I think one less artillery piece, which point I think could have worked out, but with just old tanks and old Scots, they kind of lack something to push through the lines with properly. But there you go, smoke screen down here on the western one, trying to buy more time. We got 25 points left though here for Freedom versus Sakura. Definitely determined to fight here to the last bullet, it seems like. Tanks was getting ready for another push against the Krauts. Machines got the rifle, we got the Scott here opening up. 15 kills, Vecchi 2. Excellent work there. Machine gun there. Outmaneuver the rifleman. Still meant to push all the victory points. We've got 9 points left here for Freedom. 9 points. 7 points. 5 points. East inside, we got rifleman going to point again. Another smoke screen here from Sakura. Of Freedom, I mean. Versus Sakura. There you go. Bound grenade. Home to hit them right. And there you go. Nice throw there. Read the situation correctly. And almost got in the squat. And there you go. GG. Game over. A loss here for Freedom. A loss for the 3rd Armored Division. Again, an interesting strategy. But in terms of execution, a few crucial parts were lacking. Again, too many support weapons. You lack stuff to push with. And that was basically the case here. There's too much support. Not enough actual attack elements, which allowed Sakura to slow turn around again while using attack elements like actual tanks. So, thumbs up there to Sakura. Could have certainly handled some elements of it better when the ends saw through Freedom's force composition and punished it. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment along, tell friends, tell family, but don't tell enemies. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope you all tomorrow again for a nice episode. Bye.